Hey, what's going on everyone? Sam Everett here. And in this video, we're going to decode the science behind real estate lead generation and the key reasons why some real estate professionals excel at it. All right, so lead generation is something that almost every realtor will try at least once in their career. And some of you will build your core businesses around new leads, while others will try, fail, and avoid it. All right, so I hope that after watching this video, you'll at least get a better understanding of how it works and be able to decide if it's a fit for your business or not. All right, so here's a quote that I really like from HubSpot. It says, "Advertising is all about figuring out the math in any industry." Agreed. And every form of lead generation in the real estate industry uses ads to drive traffic to a website or a landing page to generate leads. And the two top performing platforms for generating leads are Google and Facebook ads. All right, so in this segment, we're going to cover some of the technical terms that you should familiarize yourself with in order to get a better understanding of the math behind lead generation. So first up is impressions, right? This is the total number of times your advertisement is shown in front of users. More is better, and this is actually how Facebook charges you. It's per impression or per 1,000 impressions. Next is CPC, which stands for cost per click. It's every time someone clicks your ad, lands on your website or landing page, and it costs you money. So lower is obviously better, and you can see here how a lower cost per click actually affects the cost per lead, which we'll go over in a minute. And I like to keep my cost per clicks under 30 cents. CTR, which is click-through rate, that's the total percentage of people who clicked your ads versus the total impressions. All right, higher is better, and typically over 5% is really good. Cost per lead, CPL, which is when a user fills out the web form and you get their information. So this is a conversion to a lead. Obviously, you must track these, right? Very important. And last, CAC, the cost to acquire a customer. Yes, the CAC, a very important number in lead generation, the most important number. And it equals the total cost of conversion before you get a client and close a deal and make money. All right, the smaller the CAC, in this case, the better. And our cost per acquisition here at Evolved Agents to find a new home buyer or seller and close the deal is between $1,000 to $3,000. All right, so your ultimate goal is to have a low cost to acquire a customer. However, your ability to do sales and follow up and beat out your competition also comes into play with the cost to acquire a customer, right? And, we'll get into that in a minute. But your goal for the lead generation piece of the puzzle is to maximize the click-through rate and reduce the cost per conversion to acquire a new lead. All right. So when your click-through rate increases, you're getting more clicks for the same amount of money you would have spent per 1,000 impressions. Make sense? So here are three key variables that determine how many leads you'll get and what cost. So number one is the conversion rate on your landing page. All right. A high click-through rate and a low cost per lead and cost per click, that's one side of the coin. The other side involves having a compelling landing page designed to maximize conversions. All right, and for example, if you were to spend $20 and send 20 people to two different landing pages, the total number of leads generated from each landing page will likely differ quite a bit. And this process of testing different landing pages to improve your results is called A/B testing. Number two is the ad creative and ad copy. So having an eye-catching ad creative is absolutely critical to keep your cost per lead low. And if you're bidding on different keywords, using Google search, then you should focus on testing multiple variations of the ad copy in order to find out which one's performing best. And the more A/B testing you do on your ads, the better, right? The data from these A/B tests can be used to constantly improve your campaigns. And that's what we're doing here. We're trying things, we're gathering data, and trying different things to improve our results, always, okay? And number three, the last way to improve your get more leads at a lower cost is your audience targeting on Facebook. All right, so to keep your cost per lead down, you got to show your ads to the right people, and showing ads to the right people can be done using audience targeting. So although there are many ways to target people using Facebook ads, I want to keep the segment relatively short and just highlight the key strategies that you should be implementing as a realtor. So number one is behavioral targeting, and that's targeting users based on their behavior. Number two is life event targeting. So you can actually target users based on their life events. For example, a newly married, newly engaged couple are more likely to buy a home, right? Number three, That's likes and interest targeting. So targeting a section of people based on what they like and what they're interested on Facebook, right? So an example of a targeting scenario for finding high quality sellers, right, would be targeting homeowners who have been a homeowner for 10 or more years and has interest around refinancing, right? Or imagine targeting someone likely to move and has a family income between 100 to 200K. So some of these options may or may not be available based on where you live. So play around with it and see which ones perform best in your area. So now we're getting into sales, which isn't technically lead generation, but your close ratio impacts your cost to acquire a customer, which is why we have to talk about it right now. So first off, you have two important ratios. One is your ratio for turning leads into appointments, and your other ratio is for turning appointments into clients. All right? And in order to be a smart marketer, you have to constantly track your results in order to find out these two important ratios. So here's an example scenario. Let's say you pay $15 per lead and you have to call 10 leads before getting one appointment. All right? And then 10 appointments lands one client. So your close ratio for turning leads to appointments is 10%. Your ratio for turning appointments into clients is also 10%. So depending on how many clients you want, you can just scale out this math equation. And here are some estimates based on the data we've received by doing lead generation for realtors in every type of market in the US and Canada. Let's say a great cost per lead is between $15 and $30, and then a great conversion rate to appointment is around 10%. And that's heavily influenced by your sales ability and your ability to book appointments, right? So here's the formula for finding out your cost per appointment. So again, if you're paying $15 to acquire a new lead and you're booking an appointment out of every 10 leads, your cost per appointment is $15 per lead times 10 leads. That's $150 per appointment. All right, your example, in this example scenario, it takes $150 to get an appointment with one of your leads. Next, figuring out your close ratio is absolutely crucial to figuring out your cost per client acquisition. It's an integral part of real estate lead generation that most realtors just completely ignore. All right, so if homeowners interview with, let's say, 10 realtors at the high end, right, then your close ratio should be above 10%. So we'll use 10% in this example to figure out your cost per client acquisition, right? So again, your cost per appointment is $150. Your close ratio is 10%, so that's 1 in 10 appointments. That means your customer acquisition cost is $150 per appointment times 10 appointments, that's $1,500. All right, your magic number is $1,500. It means it takes $1,500 to acquire a new client using lead generation. All right, now here are some benchmarks for ROI, right? Return on investment. A great ROI would be 5 times or more. A good ROI would be between 3 to 5 times. And I would stop if your ROI is less than 3 times, right? So if your net commissions are less than $4,500, in this scenario, I would not do lead generation, okay? If your net commissions are between $4,500 and $7,500, I would continue to do lead generation. And if your net commissions are greater than $7,500, I would actually double down and spend more money on lead generation because you're killing it. Okay, so a couple implications with this. Implication one is if you're doing lead generation, you run these calculations, you figure out what your cost to acquire a customer is, then you would either decide to stop, continue, or double down. Okay, implication two is if you haven't started lead generation, I would recommend you have to spend around $500 to get some data, figure out what your cost per lead is, and then you can predict what your cost to acquire a customer would be. And then you can decide to start or not. So now that you know how to calculate your cost to acquire a new customer using lead generation, it's time to implement some of the best practices to decrease your overall cost per acquisition. Right? So number one, once you get a lead, it's highly recommended that you call them within 5 minutes. Like if you don't, your chance of conversion goes down by 2 to 3 times. All right, just listen to top real estate coaches like Tom Ferry or Grant Cardone. They all have data to support the longer you wait to call your lead after they fill out a web form, the lower your close ratio, the higher your cost per acquisition. Right? So therefore, the faster you can call the lead, the better your chances to book an appointment, close a deal, and lower your acquisition cost. And also create a script and stick to it. All right. Scripts are for the pros, right? You can have different scripts for different kind of leads, but stay consistent, right? Second way to decrease your acquisition cost is to have an effective way to follow up with your leads and nurture them using drip emails. All right, drip emails refer to a series of emails that you send your existing database in order to keep feeding them value, information, and content. So there are three main reasons why drip emails exist. Number one is to act as an amplifier for when you call your prospect, right? They're going to be a bit warmer. Number two is to keep the prospect more engaged and interested with what you have to offer. And number three is to initiate enough value so the prospect actually contacts you back for your services. Wouldn't that be nice, right? So lead nurturing takes a bit of time to set up. However, it works. So if you're going to invest thousands of dollars in lead generation, might as well maximize what you're getting for your money. And when your prospect database grows bigger, you're going to need a CRM in order to categorize all the leads into distinctive groups. And I'll recommend a few that work great for CRM or realtors. HubSpot, it's free, it works. I personally use Pipedrive. It's around $50 a month. And then another one that works great for realtors is Exact Contact. I think it's around $35 a month, right? So a CRM will help you collect more information about your prospects. And this info can be used to personalize a call or email with them. So for example, if you have the birthday of your prospect, then you can create an automatic email to wish them happy birthday on that date. Lead generation is a science, all right? So become a scientist, right? Do the math, listen to the data, or hire someone to do it for you. And just remember, all that matters is your cost to acquire a new customer. All right, so everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. Please leave a comment below with any feedback you might have. It really helps me decide what kind of content to put out there and how to best help you guys. So again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.